All right, welcome to Just Saying Season 3, Episode 3. I think I've worked it out. Well, let's see. Rhino and Bromeo, please say something and let the people hear you.
Go ahead, Bromeo.
No, don't do that, Bromeo. Don't do
he's
that.
He's doing it.
That's
he tried to do it.
Yeah,
I love
okay.
it.
All right, we got...
Are we live?
We got Wait, no, don't say that. There is absolutely sound. No, don't say wait, no sound.
There is. No, we're good. We're good. I've checked it. Okay, we're all set.
Okay, Yuckles is just having himself a bit of fun, is he? Okay. All right. Well, gentlemen, we are not going to waste too much time. There's a lot to talk about. We've had a banger of a weekend, and I think what we're going to do, we've got the star of the show who we've kept waiting. So we're going to go and chat to him now. So welcome. I think making his debut on the podcast, we have a blank screen. Oh, this is excellent.
We do.
This is going well. It's going great. As you can see, it's Rhino's brother. They look the same.
My word. One day I'll learn the lesson that I cannot be without my producer. So I think it's a simple case of doing that. And there he is, Sweaty Clarence. So Sweaty, first and foremost is I gotta thank you for your fabulous patience while you waited for us to do this, waited for me to wade through my technical issues. So welcome, Sweaty.
Thank you. It's good to. I think I've been on here once before, maybe when I was still on French class, but yeah, I'm here now.
French class. Well, that's a blast from the past, 2 and a bit years ago. That's amazing. Okay, well, first, I mean, we had a little interview with you on Saturday after your semi-final win, your upper bracket win on Saturday, and that was pretty cool. But now you are a champion, and well, first let's just go through. We're now almost 24 hours later. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, I'm feeling the adrenaline's gone down a bit now. When we won, it was crazy. It felt really good. Struggled to sleep a bit last night. So I'm feeling a bit tired now. But yeah, I'm just happy we won. It was a big win. We needed that one. So yeah.
And I mean, when we spoke to you on Saturday, you were feeling very confident about things, and then, but we asked to die for in the post grand final interview. You know, as a caster, you get a sense of how series are going, and I know we were all thinking after the first 2 games, it was like, oh, this is not feeling like Pioneer's day. And then you took game 3, and it was like, okay. Then you lost the other game, and it just didn't feel like it was going to come out for you. And it would be amazing if you kind of just took us through the game 7, and at what point you felt it started to turn around. And was there a point where you thought, okay, well, we've cooked this, it's not happening?
So I mean, we were confident going to the series. Like we built like a game plan, just in general, and we know, like, if we stick to that game plan, no one should be beating us. And I mean, the first game we played against them, it was close. I think we had most of the pressure that game, but they won in overtime, and that, I mean, it sucked, but it's just one game. And then the second game, we were like nowhere in second game, and then we like stopped a bit, like took some time to chat and like just to like regain. And yeah, third game went easy, like how it should be going, we think. And yeah, so now it's 2-1, and then they get another game, and then yeah, now then the timeout happened. We spoke, and yeah, we basically just locked in, I guess. And just we had to just remind ourselves of what we needed to do. But I mean, we always knew we should be winning that series. Like even though Lewis is on high ping, we should still be winning that series. And yeah, I think after the timeout, things changed and we got the momentum, and then we won Game 7.
All right. Well,
I gotta say, I just gotta say, it was an absolutely wild trip for us because, we were all sitting in the lobby listening and watching the game, and Five Fears took a strong lead in the beginning. We were like, shit, well, this is going to be a rough one. It's not going to be a 2-horse race. It's like a 1-horse race, but good for the content. And then each game that you guys won on the comeback, all the way through into Game 7, you guys just felt stronger and more confident as it went on. And I'm not sure if that translated, but do you feel like you were gaining confidence as the game went on?
Yeah, definitely. Like, because I mean, us as a team, we all think that we are the best individually in this region, and I mean, sometimes you just have to remind yourself about that, and then picking up a win here or there, or like winning a game without like a goal being scored against you, that obviously builds the confidence, and then I think momentum is a big thing in this game, and if you have the momentum, like things are going good for you. So yeah.
And then, okay, well, Rhino, I don't know if you had a chance to watch back the grand final or see any.
Oh, I did.
So, was there? Because in my mind, I have a very specific moment in my mind where I think was a turning point for me for Pioneers. And Rhino, I don't know if anything stood out to you in terms of a particular moment, but if not, your general thought of of how it went over the course of those 7 games.
Yeah, I mean, people will be talking about this for a very long time as one of the best finals of an Open that SSA maybe has ever seen. And that is credit to our guest on the panel, of course, as well as all of his teammates and everyone on Five Fears as well. A 7-game series is so much fun to watch all the time, and especially when the pendulum swings at such a rate as it did in that series. I feel it moved towards Five Fears to start with. They looked like they were getting their feet under them. Pioneers, they punched back and were able to get back in there. Five Fears were able to bring out another game victory, and they're on series point, and you're like, well, we've very rarely seen this kind of lead turn around in a grand final. And then, I mean, it just completely switched. And I think it was probably after that Game 4 is I mean, it's easy to say that that's the moment where the game turned on its head, right? But it was in that Game 4. It was that first goal that Pioneers scored where all of a sudden I started to be a little bit like, oh, that was really quite something, and Five Fears are going to be a little bit concerned now. So for me personally, I think it was that moment, that first goal going in Game 4. I really thought there was a changing of the tide. Sorry, Game 5, I should say. Game 5, because Game 4 was won by First Fears. I'm saying Game 5.
Yes.
That first goal was all of a sudden there was a little spark, I thought.
Sweaty, for you, was there a moment? And then I've clipped a moment I thought it all changed. But was there a moment? Was there a moment for you, Sweaty?
So I mean, I thought the moment was when we won Game 3. I think we won Game 3 like 3-0, and that felt good. Like, it just kind of reassured us. But then we lost Game 4, so maybe I was wrong. But yeah, it had to have been Game 5, like where we scored a nice goal, and it kind of gave us our confidence back, and like everyone got a bit hype, and yeah, we started to believe again. I mean, we always believed, but yeah, it actually it showed.
So after Brobia, did you want to go?
Yeah, I did. And just linking onto the self-belief and things like that you were just mentioning, I was reading on Twitter because Greybeard put out a post that he's going to be interviewing your lovely self this evening, and there were a couple of people who raised some valid questions, which I think would be pretty insightful for you to answer. And the first one is that we postulate on this one all the time, but do you think that the gap between, say, the top and the rest of the region is closing in, or do you think it's just as far as it's ever been?
I don't know. I feel like us and 5 years are definitely like ahead of the rest. A fair bit at the moment. I think the team of Jeff, Ravi, and Stake, like as they gain more experience, they'll be better. And I think a thing for them now is at the moment is they've got quite a bit of nerves because they're inexperienced, which is understandable. But I think once they start to mature and then they have like Stake as like a veteran, as you could say, on their team to kind of guide them, I think they could towards the end of the season they could start like they could maybe take a series, not against us obviously, but maybe 5 years. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'm gonna show you my moment, which so this is how I saw it. Is 5 years taking those first two games, it just felt like it was gonna get away. And game 3, you guys had to win, and you did. So I thought, okay, great, you're back. And then 5 years take game 4. They're now on series point, with you guys on a single game going into Neo Tokyo, and you had taken the timeout. You won the game where you took the timeout, which was great, but then lost after that. Then going into Neo Tokyo,
No, we actually didn't. We only took the timeout when we were 3-1 down.
That's what
I believe. I think you said after game 3 or game 2. I don't know.
Oh, you didn't take it after game. Okay.
No.
Well, then it must have been this game. Then you took the timeout going into Neo Tokyo.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting. Okay, good. Well, that makes it even clearer for me, because then this was the big moment, and we're gonna lose your face for a second, because I wanna show the clip of what happened, and this for me was the moment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was gross.
Oh yeah.
I think that was the moment.
that was a moment, definitely, indeed, and it's one of the sweatiest goals I've seen in a while. So, and you were beating out Snowy on defense there as well, so you can't even discredit the opposition. That was just a quality goal.
Thank you.
And from that moment, you guys never looked back. I mean, it was just well, obviously not. You won that game, and then went on to win on Champions Field. So it was a banger of a banger. And looking back, that for me was the moment. So, well, talk us through the double tap there. I don't know if you can even remember it, but I mean, with all the adrenaline coursing through, but as much as you remember it, tell us about the moment.
Yeah, I think like right before that I messed up or something in defense, and then I was just at the mid boost somehow, and then the ball just landed in my lap, and I saw only Snowy was back, and then yeah, I did my thing, I guess.
You did your thing indeed. Okay, well let's go ask some other questions now. And Bromeo did mention that tweet that I put out, and there are a couple of questions from there that we will come back to. But first, Lewis P. I remember Lewis from I think it was either RSC or Uni Rocketeers, going back to like 2021 there or thereabouts. And he was doing, I'm pretty sure it was Uni Rocketeers, and he was just doing great. And then it was amazing to then see him in Europe, and then even more amazing to see that he's sort of coming into the equation in SSA. So I don't know how involved you and To Die For were in getting Lewis into the roster, or if that was something handled by Pioneers. But how did that come about with the two of you locking in with Lewis?
Yeah, so myself and David, we decided we were going to go find a third, like an EU import third, at the end of last season. When we saw the rule change, and I mean, we asked pretty much everyone, like that made main event in EU, because we weren't sure who would actually want to move to SSA and to compete here. And I mean, there was a couple people that were like interested, but we ended up with Lewis. He was definitely the best or the standout player that we had the pick from, and Joe, I mean, it shows. He's an insane player. Like we just won with him on high ping. Like I can't wait for him to be on low ping.
Mm. And how long had you guys started? How long before the start of this open were you guys teaming and scrimming and playing together and working things out? Was there a good amount of lead up time?
I think I don't know, maybe a little over a month. We were like scrimming SSA teams. Like there was rumors going around for a long time that we were gonna team with Lewis. And that's because we were scrimming with him. So I think we were practicing with him for quite a while. And then maybe like a week into scrimming with him, we found Lawler, and yeah, we really liked the way he coached and like his leadership. And so we asked Pioneers if they would, or if we could try get Lawler as coach, and they were more than happy to bring him on.
I want to circle back to that question, but I'm going to come back to Lawler. I've got two Lewis P questions related, and then I want to let Bromeo and Rhino go. So because I know they're stacking up the questions there. So the first question is comms in terms of, because I have no doubt that you and To Die For suck at Spanish. So Lewis P's English, is it good enough that you have excellent comms? And then secondly, when is he coming to SSA, and is he going to Slummies or is he going to Cape Town?
So he's definitely not coming to London, that's for sure. I mean, it's an option, but I told him he should rather go to Cape Town. But Joe, regarding the comms, he actually lived in England for a while because he played for an org, one of the English orgs. And so he's like got really good English, so we all come in English. Um and he next year he'll be playing all the regionals from South Africa. And like one of the reasons he didn't come for this regional was, I mean, because he'd have to make extra flights, but then also there's like a 90-day like Spanish rule. Yeah, that you only allowed 90 days within like 180 days or something. So, and we didn't want him just to fly down for a week and then leave. So
Yes.
he'll be like permanently staying in South Africa in Cape Town next year.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
All right, Rhino, Bromeo, over to you.
Rhino, you go first.
I go first. All right. Well, we've talked about it a little bit already, Sweaty, and obviously we're focusing on Pioneers as a team, but I also want to have a little look at the region as a whole, because it's been a big discussion point right now. Is this a top 2 region? Is this a 3-team region? Is this a 5-team region? I would very much like you to kind of give your thoughts on teams like Looking for Organization. You've already talked about Cosmico and Deathcloud especially, because those 3 teams seem to be the teams that are closest to being able to topple the giants, if you like to put it that way. So can you just give some thoughts on those 3 teams and kind of where you see them for the season?
Yeah, so I mean I already spoke about Cosmico a bit. Like if they mature a bit, they can be good. Werty's team, I don't know, it's a bit of an interesting one because they obviously have the experience like Werty, Eli and Torres, but Torres isn't going to be, or at least I haven't heard anything, like he's not going to be playing on low ping, he's not coming to South Africa, so that's a pretty big disadvantage. So I kind of see Cosmico like being the clear third at the start of next year. And then I think like Deathcloud, they could be good. Like we've scrimmed them a few times. And they actually played really well in scrims the one time. So they definitely have a high peak. But I think it's also the same with them, like they're young, the nerves. But but with experience, like that'll just go away eventually. Yeah.
I completely agree with that one. And I've got a question that's going to tack on right onto that. Is that you've got a whole bunch of upcoming teams, every single one of them practically has a Spanish third or an import third. How do you think the dynamics of having new, fresh players in each team, how has that affected the scene? Has it changed the play style a bit? Has it changed the environment? What's it like competing like this now, in just what you've experienced in this first main event?
Yeah. So I think the 2/3 rule is probably better than if there was no imports allowed in the region. I think the 2/3 rule is definitely helping the region improve. Like just letting like SSA players play against good EU players. And because especially with teaming with Lewis and like scrimming against players like Tecos and Torres, you kind of it's kind of like you get to practice new things, I guess. I don't know how to explain it, but you're playing against players better than you, and I can just feel myself like improving every time I scrim them, and I'm sure that's what the rest of the region is feeling as well.
And then I want to circle back to the Lawler. I'm very interested in what you had to say about Lawler, because I just assumed that Pioneers had sourced Lawler, had reached out to him or whatever, and I'm fascinated to hear that it was you guys who suggest. How did you even come across Lawler as a coach? I mean, most of us know him as a content creator and certainly an analytical brain about the game, but. A, how did you think of Lawler? B, who reached out to him and started that conversation?
Yeah, so during the off season, he kind of actually reached out to myself and David, because he saw one of our tweets saying that we were looking for an import third, and he was like trying to help us find a third as well. And then we got to talking with him, and like we actually had a replay session with him, and we really liked what he had to say in the replay session with us. And I mean, we were kind of just locked on trying to get Lawler after that replay session.
And that's such an amazing pickup. I mean, just because he's just not a person you would have thought of as a coach, and it's fantastic, and I'm so glad it's working out, and he seemed really stoked and pumped to be with you guys. And was he in comms with you yesterday during that grand final? Was he giving you the pep talk when it was needed?
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely in comms with us yesterday. I was even screen sharing, so he was basically watching my perspective throughout the whole of yesterday. And I mean, yeah, he gave us a good pep talk, and yeah, things just turned around. Just reminded us what we needed to do, and that it's actually quite simple what we needed to do. And yeah, it helped us a lot because, as I said, he's a good leader. So yeah.
All right. Well, are we going to get to the questions from the general populace? And in chat, if you've got questions, fire away with them. But Bromeo, Rhino, if you guys want to tackle other questions with Sweaty, go for it.
I don't have any extra questions other than what the public asked, and because there's some good ones. Stones is asked from Twitter, who do Pioneers scrim? Do they scrim outside SSA? Do they scrim inside the SSA bubble? This is more of a general question than a direct question, so feel free to answer it however you please.
Yeah, so this year or before this regional, we only scrimmed SSA teams. And funny enough, we actually had one of the APAC teams reach out to us for a scrim on MENA servers, but it was too close to the regional, so we didn't really feel comfortable with like changing the whole ping dynamic. So myself and David scrimming on high ping and then Lewis on low ping, we wanted to keep it the same for the regional. But I mean, that's definitely something we're open to. Like, I mean, it's one of the main ways you can improve is if you scrim like, let's say, an APAC team or a MENA team on MENA servers, because I get like 130 ping,
Fair enough.
which is what like Lewis gets to SSA. So
And sorry to cut you off there. And I just think this is an important question because one of the biggest gripes during this whole, import invasion thing was all of these teams coming in from the north, and the biggest gripe from local players is what we didn't get to scrim them. Given the fact that 2/3 is now the de facto in rule situation, and scrimming is now returned to normal things, are you seeing the top teams scrimming against each other more often, or is everybody still out on their own doing their own thing?
well, I can only speak for ourselves,
Fair enough.
because I honestly only see us. But I mean, our main priorities are to scrim 5 years, and then like Cosmico, you're looking for org, uh, and then we also have like scrims where we'll scrim like maybe a top 16 team, because obviously in qualifiers you play those teams only, or in your top 16 matches, so you also need practice against them. So we definitely are scrimming like the lower, I wouldn't say lower, but like your main event teams. Not as often. But yeah, I can only really speak for ourselves. Yeah. Don't know.
That's fair. So
Right.
it's totally fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a question mainly about the team makeup, because we've already talked about Luis P coming in, but during that, you kind of mentioned that yourself and To Die For already kind of knew that you were looking out for a third player who was going to be an import. I just want to ask mainly, was there initially going to be a search for someone who was in SSA already, or did you kind of look down the options, decide that that wasn't the route you wanted to go down, and bring in an import? What was the thinking behind that?
I mean, we did think about getting a third SSA player, but I think we both kind of knew we were kind of set on an import, especially if it was like a high level import, because that would just help us improve so much just by playing with them and seeing what they do. That's so much better than us. And yeah, I think that's what other teams also decided, because I definitely think that getting yourself an EU third, especially like a Spanish third, because they have like the lowest ping from EU to SSA, will definitely help your team out for sure.
Well, it's certainly borne out by the fact that every top 16 team had, well, probably a Spanish import, but certainly an EU
Yeah.
player. So it's certainly borne out by that. So Unguarded Ace's question has been answered, because he asked you about the gap between the top four is closer or tighter, but you answered that at the outset. And then Galaxy asks, he says, what is the one thing you think separates your team, the Pioneers, from everyone else, and which makes you the best team currently? Is there a one thing, or what for you separates you guys?
I don't know about one thing. I think it's a multitude of small things. I think the fact that, because I do think we are better individually, but obviously Rocket League is a team game, so that doesn't really matter as much. So I think it helps that we are like, myself, David, and Lewis. We're actually like good friends, and Lola. We're not just like colleagues, I guess. So it definitely helps, like especially in moments where you're struggling, like yesterday. Like I think if you're not friends, you can't. I don't think like colleagues can bring it back like that. You have to be good friends, you know. And yeah, I mean, we take every scrum pretty serious as well. So I think the fact that we mostly locked in all the time, and we also worked like really hard before this first regional. Like we scrimmed a lot. So I think I'm not sure if other people were scrimming as much as us. Maybe they were, but yeah, definitely the grind helps.
And so then where to from here? Looking, so one open down, 5 more to go, 2 major spots and a world spot up for grabs. Do you 5 Fears came pretty close. I know Guns was pretty disappointed and not quite sure how he landed up on the losing end of things there. But do you see 5 Fears taking at least one of the remaining opens? Do you see it getting close contention for the major spots?
I mean, it's definitely possible. Like, I'm not gonna say that we're gonna go win everything. As much as I want to say that, it's just I don't think that's the case. Like, it's gonna be close, but I definitely think like we should be making every LAN this season. I think like if we don't make every LAN, then it's kind of a failure of a season. But I think they can win a regional. Like if you play better on the day, you're gonna win. It's as simple as that.
And do you see a dark horse team coming out of the blue and finding themselves in one of the grand finals? Like you mentioned Cosmico or maybe LFO or Death Cloud, if they, or do you think it's going to be a 5 Fears Pioneers show all the way to the end?
I think towards the end of the season, Cosmico could do it for sure. Other than that, I don't know. I think it's mostly going to be teams fighting for top 4. Like that's going to be the main battle. But sure, there's also players that I think should be doing better. I'm gonna sorry to do it, but I'm shout out my boy Nitro. Like I think he's definitely a top 8 level player, but he went out top 16. So I think if someone like picks him up, like if someone's not happy with the team, they could pick him up and it could be a good change. I don't know. I think towards the end of the season we could see some new finals like pairings for sure.
All right, cool. Well, gents, Bromeo, we're gonna let Sweaty go. But any final thoughts or questions before we let him get on with more important things in his life?
Not so much a question, just more of a statement. Just thanks so much for coming and chatting with us, because it's not very often you get to hear the perspectives for such a long period of time, other than a post-game interview, on what you guys actually think of Rocket League. Because most of the time, it's just us. It's myself and Greybeard and whoever's unlucky enough to come and spend an hour with us. And we debate the comings and goings of the region. So I just want to say thanks, and I appreciate you taking the time to come to talk to us, because it doesn't happen often enough.
Of course, thanks for having me.
And hopefully we'll get to do a lot more of it as we go with you and with other players. I know Jeff's in chat. We definitely want to get Jeff in here because we know he loves being in front of a camera and having a conversation. Yeah. So Sweaty, congratulations! You are a regional champion. Well done. Really looking forward to the 17th of January where we get to do it all over again. But yeah, it feels like there's a revival in SSA RLCS, and it's great to see you being a part of it.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
All right, mate. Be well. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, and there we have it. That was really cool, despite the very awkward start to this entire podcast. So now,
what are you talking about? I don't remember.
That's a very good start.
Oh my word!
We account at least 5 minutes at the beginning of the stream just to warm up, get used to it, get rid of all of the tech issues, and then we're good to go. It's standard. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
You have no idea though how much it annoys me, but whatever. But we're smooth sailing now. Let's spend a little bit of time talking about this open overall as just how astonishingly good it was, and it really does feel like a revival of the competitive scene in this region. And we spoke at length about it with all the talent yesterday. But Rhino, watching from the seats of whatever football club it was that you had other commitments to, your thoughts on this regional.
Firstly, I'm so glad you take an interest in my work outside of Rocket League. That's really kind of you. I appreciate it. No, I love SSA, man. I love SSA. Coming into this regional, you had sold it perfectly as the best open we have seen in the region in a long time, if not ever. And I believe every step of the way, it delivered at the highest of levels. We got the grand final that we wanted. We got the 7-game grand final that we wanted. The top 4 teams were the top 4 teams coming through that we all kind of theorized, and that's a little bit of justification that we're good at our jobs. And then before that, I've been speaking to a couple of people in the region, and we just think it's so unbelievably competitive from kind of 6th position in the region right the way down to about the 32nd position in the region. That big group there, on any given day, any team could be any other team, which is insane to think about. And we saw it in top 16. You had teams go out that you just weren't expecting to go out. I mean, Cam and Willu not making it through, of course, is my own personal, slight annoyance because I was on that team stream, of course. But you had so many other amazing teams that just didn't make it into the top 8, and that proves once and for all that SSA is back. We are ready to fight for this region, and every single player knows that this is their best chance to really show themselves on a mainstream stage, and they're all going to try and take those opportunities. There is no way that top 8 is replicated even once for the rest of this open. It will always change.
Bromeo, your highlights.
Man, there were so many highlights. The entire weekend was my highlight. I feel like that there were so many moments it would be a little bit disrespectful to highlight all of them, but from a straight Rocket League perspective, the quality was immense, and I don't think we appreciate how far SSA skill levels have come. You used to consider whiffs as a natural, part of things a couple of years ago, and watching the first couple of streams, as a bystander, you could definitely see that there was a massive skill gap between us and, our closest neighbors, just for an example. But now that we get to watch these games closely, I can see that the average individual skill level has gotten so good. We're seeing, I saw in chat, we're celebrating a double tap, but if you saw the pressure that double tap came from, where in the field it came from, and the fact that there were so many really good tactical plays, the passing plays. It wasn't just take up the 50, wait for the loose ball and try and smash it into the back of the net, which was SSA ball for the longest of times. You're seeing these strats, these passing plays, these pieces of individual mechanics that are defining teams. And it was such a joy, and this is a separate one, is that we now get to have a telestrator on stream, and I cannot even describe to you how much joy that brings me, because it truly allows us to take a game breakdown even further, rather than saying, trust me, bro, that's what happened. And so 5 Fears taking Pioneers all the way, my top peak highlights. There is nothing better than a Game 7 grand final. And I think the fact that it's still a strong 2-horse race all the way until the very end is still good. I'd love it to be a 3-horse race. But that's just me being greedy. I love that the top 8 is, as we predicted it, sort of there and thereabouts. The only people who didn't make it all the way, I think, were Astronic. and
Rounds.
that was a little,
Mm.
that was a little bit of a low light for me. But overall, the quality of the Rocket League, all the way from top 12 downwards, is looking really, really great, and it's made me very optimistic about our region.
So overall, a huge success for me. It was right from the beginning, the 123 signups, the 106 teams that actually started, the qualifiers, just the number of people getting involved. And of course, the Wolves, the high school team competing, getting into the top 16 was just sensational for me. And then the fact that the top 8 is not as certain. There was a time where your top 8 was guaranteed. Regional in, regional out, it was the same guys, and now you have players like Willow and Cam falling short. I mean, wild. This is crazy that they weren't in there with rounds. And Astronic and Devour's in chat, and absolutely Skill and Devour. They will know they didn't put in the show they should have, and they will be back and fighting. So it feels like there's 10 to 12 teams fighting for the top spot. Punishers was a wonderful revelation, that nobody really saw coming, and like they were really, really good. So and thrilled for Gold Ninja, who's an OG, been grinding it out there, and he's still around, still a part, still relevant in that top 8. So overall a massive success, and I just hope we replicate and improve it, starting with open number 2 into 3, 4, 5, and 6, and we will again have an actual SSA people on a LAN, which will be wonderful. And I see Jeff there say he doesn't understand why people thought Punishers won't do well. Well, listen, that's why we're not competing, Jeff. That's why we sit here and give big opinions. I see 5BS in chat. I got to tell you, 5BS, every time the casters said 5 fears on stream, I thought they were saying 5BS.
I saw that. I even saw that comment in chat, and I'm like, I didn't hear it, but then now that I've read that, now that I'm aware of it, it's the only thing I could hear. So yeah, me too.
All right, I did have a topic item that because I was very angry over the weekend, but I've decided that it's not worth burning time on, so I'm going to give it one comment on it, and then we will move on, and that is Team 10. Team 10 I was very frustrated with, because they competed in the top 16 on Friday night, knowing that they would forfeit if they made it through to top 8. They made it through to top 8 and then forfeited, so we only had 3 games broadcast on Saturday. And just so everyone is aware, that is a violation of the competition rules. You're not allowed to do that. But I was irritated with that and frustrated, but that's all I'm going to say on it, because we've got many other good and important things to talk about. So
many important things.
So many.
Just the most.
So
there's never been more.
Gents, what are you? We all know that Rocket League rosters, by and large, and maybe it's a broad esport thing, I don't know, but certainly within Rocket League and certainly within SSA, rosters are fragile things. So do you think we're going to have a roster apocalypse between this open and the next one, given in mind that it's 6 weeks, 6 long weeks between the last open and the next one?
Historically speaking, it happens every single time until there's actual money being thrown in other than prizing. Players are always going to scramble to see if they can secure their best possible shot at prizing, because until there's guaranteed salaries and contracts and orgs who carry that sort of weight, the only reason you see the top orgs in Europe stay together for a long period of time is because they're contractually obligated to, and they know that that's their best possible shot at making some money from the limited time they have in this game. So yes, even in those scenarios, you have roster mania. So I'm not going to be surprised when half of all of these rosters explode. I do think that at least 3 of the top 4 are going to remain unchanged. And I would say at least 6 of the top 8 will stay unchanged.
Okay, well, I've made a list of rosters that I think are vulnerable, but and then you guys can weigh in on that. But before we get there, there's 2 things I want to take up. One, we haven't spoken about the statistical top performers out of Open number 1, so we need to do that. But then Ginger Muzz asked a question, and it was a question that came up in chat on the stream yesterday. Questions around the longevity of Snowy. I mean, he is the region's most decorated player. I think the stat is a ridiculous stat of like 27 out of 31 grand finals Snowy has been there, which is just crazy. But do we see Snowy with still 1, 2, 3, or 4 seasons in him, or where do thoughts center around that?
I just want to pick this one up. I know it's probably Rhino who should also put in on this one, but from what I saw over the weekend, Snowy should go nowhere. He is still massive. His influence on the game is immense. He made a grand final, and for a couple of those games, he was carrying. And I think that Snowy is an incredible Rocket League player, and we've disagreed on many things, but his ability has never been in doubt. He is a really good player, and I think he can play at the top level for as long as he chooses to.
I could not agree more. I absolutely could not agree more. If there is a region in the world to extend a Rocket League career, I feel like it is right here in SSA, especially when you have been at the top of the region for so long. Snowy, I mean, Bromeo kind of hit the nail on the head. We often talk about people in football, and we kind of say, leave the football before the football leaves you. But the Rocket League is not leaving Snowy. It hasn't left him. He's still got it. He's still fantastic around the field. And some of the time you look at kind of older players in the scene and you start to think, oh, they've lost a step. They're not quite as quick as they used to be. They don't maintain the same speed around the field. Not the case with Snowy. He is still as lightning fast to plays and to balls as he ever has been. And I just do not think there's any reason for him to start to wind down until such a time where he does fade away from that first and second picture in the region, which I don't see happening anytime soon.
And then I guess the one remaining question is we have made a thing of 2 volatile, interesting, 2 strong-headed people got together with Snowy and Guns, and we were all wondering how that would pan out. And so far, so good. But they have now had a massive knock in not winning yesterday from what seemed like a strong winning position. So I think the thing I'm keen to watch now is how they bounce back from that and how strong they will be. But I do think what they have in their favor is that as strong-headed as Snowy is, I do think when it comes to Rocket League, I think he's quite strong and strong-willed, and I think he will, if he needs to pick up Guns, if Guns needs any picking up, and rediscover the fire in the belly to come out swinging in Open number 2. But Bromeo, let's talk about our statistical top performers coming out of Open number 1, because they always are, at least with the big numbers.
Man, it's one of my favorite parts of having something where all of the replays are captured by the RLCS referee. It means that every single time that an Open happens, there's some statistics to look at again. And because there's all new teams, there are all new stats. So we were talking about Snowy. We interviewed Sweaty. We mentioned Guns. Every single one of them is in the top assists. Yeah, I thought you were going to start with goals, not going to lie, but
I thought goals is the one that's the headline
You're
one.
building up to that. That's the main event.
That's fair. So what we wanted to point out, and this is huge, Guns was nowhere near the top goal scorer. And this is very interesting because he heads up by a fair margin the amount of assists. He is, and for this first open, almost exclusively a playmaker. And that little transition under the tutelage of Snowy, I think, has been massive because it's fully utilizing Guns' technical arsenal to put him at the top there as a creator. He creates that space, he opens up the gaps, and we did that one analysis of Guns' pass to Snowy forward. Snowy passes down to Tekars, and Tekars scores. That was a team play, but that was indicative of how they've been playing overall. So you can also see Keksi, you can see Steak, Snoozy, Tekars, and Yilo Meshin, Sweaty. And please bear in mind that all of these statistics, there are some outliers. There are some people who had a higher average, but I only included players on this list if they played a minimum of 10 games in the main event, which means they at least made it to, day 2. So if you played one game and you had like a massive amount of assists in that game, I'm sorry, I didn't count you. But for this regional, it's starting to lay out pretty clearly because this is your top 10. And Snowy at the bottom of top 10 has 0.65 assists per game. Guns at 1 assist per game is light years ahead. Keksi also up there, but it is a huge amount of work to get this amount of assists. So big congratulations to them.
And a shout out to Keksi though on the Punishers there, because they went out on Saturday, so missed out on potentially 2 other series. Or more, 3 series theoretically, but still rocking in there with 18 assists. That's pretty banger. That's quite a solid performance. And then we move from assists to saves.
All right, so yeah, and we need to preface this one as well.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I did not include anybody who played less than 10 games. There were some players who got a ridiculous amount of saves, but that was indicative of you getting dunked on by more.
You spend 5 minutes in front of your net, you're going to get banger saves.
Yeah. You're going to get quite a few saves. So Tristan coming out on top, also massive effort. And have a look at Torres and 6. They made it all the way to the end, so it's not that impressive, but 46 saves over
that is crazy.
The
and there were some wild saves. There were wild saves. Yeah.
So Torres obviously playing alongside Werty and Eli, and that was such an interesting dynamic to see how they played. And you'll notice that Werty and Eli are not on this list. So it was Torres carrying the third man responsibilities of chilling above on backboard to stop those shots. And it's been really interesting overall to see the gap that these import players are occupying on a team, especially when it comes to roles and responsibilities. Torres, who was not primarily the guy who saved the shots when he played for Foot last season, definitely changing the dynamic this season. So it's interesting to see that. Wilu coming out in 5th. Twinzer putting in an absolute shift as well. And Keksi, Friction, and Tristan on the top. So big ups to them.
Can I just jump in here? Because I do want to talk about that Torres one for the moment. We have so often talked about Werty being the perennial third man in Rocket League, right? He just is that guy that you go back to and go, well, that's where he plays. I wonder if LFO are going to kind of look at these statistics and look at their rotations from this open and kind of be like, well, that's not how we drew it up. We were forced into plays we didn't want to make. We were forced to play in a way that maybe didn't suit our play style, and maybe come into Open 2 with a little bit of a different mindset. That's probably the thing that surprised me the most about this list is, no Werty in sight. That's funny.
That is surprising. I love Jeff's comment. He says he can say Ravi stole at least 3 saves from him during the course of the weekend. So Jeff reckons he would have been better if not for that. And to answer your question, Muzz, the Punishers finished 7th, 8th, top 8 they finished. And so moving from saves, next up we have top demos, the aggressors.
Man, and this is always good to see. And as a team, Pioneers actually put in a huge amount of demos, but individually, Tweaks putting in 46 demos. That's 2.5 demos a game. There was clearly a statistic there. Team 10's Kazuto also doing the business. Cosmico's Ravi coming in second. Teshao and Twinza also with Tweaks, all in the top 5 amount of demos. So if we did a little deep dive into the way that this team played ball, this Death Cloud team of Tweaks, Teshao, Twinza, the fact that they have 46 plus 33, that's 79. Yep. That's 112 demos across a main event for one team. So they very much had a tactic. They wanted to get something done, and apparently violence was it.
Certainly looks like it. I mean, I love it though. I personally love it. A lot of people had question marks over Death Cloud a little bit, because obviously they were one of the teams that we looked at as being positive, certainly pushing for those top 8 spots. Getting a top 6 for that roster is so impressive, and you can see in front of you most of the reason why, right? They played bully ball. They made teams feel uncomfortable at all times. They were trying to play with a 3-on-2 attack at any given moment. And I mean, 3 players in the top 5 for most demos. You've got to prepare for Death Cloud now if you're going to play them in Open 2.
No, man. But yeah, sorry, Graybit, go for it.
No. I was going to move to the next one. So if you've still got something to say about demos before we get to the big one of goals.
I don't think so. The one mention is Cam, who in his limited time, they only played 11 games, was 4 rounds. And he got 1.6 demos per game, and that is very interesting because he's not traditionally an aggressive player. So that is a change around. It could have just been the methods for the day, but it's just interesting that he ended up on this list.
And shout out to Lewis P, who arrived in chat, followed the channel. Good to have you on board there, Lewis. I hope you were here when Sweaty was singing your praises. And moving on to top goals, talking of our being in the south of Spain or sub-Saharan Spain, wherever we are now, quite something, topping the top goal scorers.
And then this was very interesting to see. We were talking about Werty just now, and he was actually the top goal scorer for his team, LFO. And this top 10 is very tricky because you'll notice from 4 to 8, everybody is on 1 goal a game, tied for 1 goal, and that just shows how close it was for each of these teams. It's interesting because Tekos came out in the lead at 1.13, despite having played the most amount of games, still came out with the most goals per game. So prolific goal scorer in Tekos, and Lewis P as well. And this is the big separator, because we said Torres was making the saves, but he's definitely not on the goals. So this is showing us how that third is being used. And Tekos and Lewis P, clearly the beneficiaries of the bang of the back of the net. Snowy rounding up the top 3 in the top goal scorers, and that is very interesting to see as well, because he was not the main instigator when it came to Limitless. So now that 5 Fears is in business, this is very interesting to see. Tweaks from Death Cloud coming in at 5th. Also Gold Ninja, Jeff, and there should be another Bird player in there somewhere. But that is and Sweaty coming in at 1 goal a game, and honorable mentions for Bigfoot and Kazuto. But you see the amount of goals being smacked by the top 2 teams. They are top 2 for a reason, and their firepower right now is unparalleled.
And it's what I'm finding interesting is when you look across everything in the region, the 2/3 keeps coming up there. Effectively, in the top 10 here of goal scorers, it's a 2/3. It's a 2/3 rollout there of the top 10.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just quite fascinating. And I'd had a thought. Oh, so the surprise teams that didn't make top 8, we've spoken of them, Astronic and Rounds, who are 2 teams you would absolutely expect to be there. The surprise teams in the top 8, Golden Ninjas team, which is the Punishers, and Team 10, who effectively took the places of Rounds and Astronic. But on the teams, it feels like we have the potential for more breakout players than we've ever had. And I've got a list of 5, and I don't know if you guys have any others that you want to add to that. But based on what we've seen in Open number 1, I'm really excited to see how these players pan out for the rest of the season. And there are all the names I've got on the list that's coming up were teams that made it into top 8. So Devour, for example, should be there, should have been in the top 8, and we expect great things from him coming into Open number 2. But these are the players I think are on the cusp of having breakout seasons. T-Shao and Tweaks, we've spoken of, Death Cloud Esport, who are really a roster that have done, I mean, when you see the names, you go, yeah, these are good players, but to me, they've performed better than I expected them to. And if Tweaks and T-Shao can have a banger season, there's the potential of Death Cloud threatening top 3, maybe sneaking into a grand final somewhere. That might be hoping for too much, but I don't know. Your thoughts on my list?
Look, I was gonna say Tweaks off the bat. He's had a screamer. He's always been in a conversation of somebody who's got talent, but we haven't seen that much from him. Well, right now we've seen quite a lot of him, and it's looking really, really good. Tweaks has gone from on the fringe of the conversation to main event to top 8, and I just think he's one to watch. Look, we've spoken a lot about T-Shao. We've spoken a lot about Ravi and Devour, but Jeff also forced his way into the conversation. He's always been there and thereabouts. I think that he's really stepped up his game in the last year, and it's been really cool to see. Nitro, I don't think he's breaking out. I think he's up there. He's a really good player. He always has been. I think he's just been unfortunate with team selections. That's about it. I think that he can do a lot better than he currently is, I think, but I don't think he's a breakout player. I think he's a good player who just hasn't been on the right team. So if I were to add any names to that list, I'm just seeing who made it all the way to the end.
Don't steal mine. I've got a player I want to add.
You got one.
Don't steal mine.
Okay. Then go first. I'll think about what I'm gonna say.
Now, as far when we're talking about breakout players, okay, I appreciate this player. We know he's good, but based on this season, based on what we've seen in this Open, he's reaching heights he's never reached before, and I really want to see it happen more. I want to shout out Declan of Synthesis, because I remember, obviously, as I say, I was on the Rounds team stream on Friday, and in the 5-game series that we played against Synthesis, this man was an absolute menace. He was, I would argue, the man of the match for Synthesis on that roster. And when you're playing against Meshin, or playing with Meshin, I should say, who's a 2,500 peak in SSA in EU, that's a very, very difficult thing to do. But Declan did not look a step away. He didn't look off it, and I thought he was absolutely excellent. Declan, I think, has to be considered as a breakout player this season. I really do.
My hesitation on putting Declan on a breakout list is that he's been around, and yes, by virtue of breakout is someone who's kind of been good but not made it to the heights they should. I just feel with Declan and Daps, they should have been further. They should have gone further than they have, and I'm hoping. As a team, they'll break out and they'll get out of the habit of going all the way to game 5s and game 7s to win what they do. And they did break a bit of a mental barrier this regional in that they got into the top 8 and they got into the top 6, which is their best result so far. So on that basis, yes. And then to retort to Bromeo, Nitro, I saw in the 2024 Comic-Con finals, and I was convinced that he was going to have an amazing season. Same with Tweaks. I saw them both at those Comic-Con finals, but I think it was overshadowed somewhat by the region issues, and things were a little bit crazy, and players were struggling with motivation. But with that out of the way now, you feel that we can fly, little birdies, fly, and hopefully that'll come to pass. So we're expecting great things from all of these players.
I think I'm trying to remember that goal where he faked out the entire team, but because I consider Daps and Declan like the same player, in my
rightly or wrongly,
yeah, rightly or wrongly, I watched that goal and it was disgusting because the audacity of it, faked out the first man, and then caused. Yeah, he had it and then he dropped low and then played the ball underneath, but he faked out the entire team in the space of 3 seconds, and for me it was one of the goals of the tournament, easily, and just the sheer audacity to do that, it gained so much points for me, and he really had a good tournament. And I really would like to see more. And one thing I will agree with, and this has been an observation of mine, is that the injection of these EU players into each and every team has synonymously up-leveled every single team, whether, just from different aspects, because as you can see on the stats board, they all bring different things. And it's sort of like Pokemon cards, you'll use the one that powers up your team the best. But I think that there's so many positives to take away from this, and there are going to be some players that we miss. And I look forward to adding to this list as the season goes on. These are just the most obvious ones so far, but I gotta say I'm highly, highly impressed with the top 8. It's delivered some absolute bangers.
And a team we haven't mentioned in the conversation we should have is 5BS's team of Yoppie with Ram. And Ram, the breakout player for Ram, that ship has sailed. The man's a legend. But to see him come back into the scene and do what he's doing, it's just so good for everybody for Ram to be there. So
can I add Ram to the breakout players list? He's really broken the mold for me this season to see him come back, and I've said this so much. He's one of my favorite players.
Yes.
So to see him consistently in the mix makes me so unreasonably happy. So welcome back, Ram. I hope you enjoy your stay this time.
And I am sad though that we didn't get the Cam and Ram. We didn't get the link of the Wham Bam Cam and Ram, because that would have been lovely.
I love that one. Yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah, that would have been great because I had a catchphrase ready and everything.
I heard it. I remember it. I'm upset we didn't get it.
And all right, we were talking moments ago about the roster chaos, particularly, hopefully not too much in that top 8 scene, but I do think we will see some there. So these, and we're not going to spend too much time with them because I'm conscious of the fact that Bromeo's got commitments, and we A, started late, and B, I had my catastrophic issues which has delayed us. But so we got to get Bromeo out of here on time. But these, in my mind, are are the vulnerable rosters, which I would expect may well break up given results and performances.
It's dangerous. You're giving them a reason. It's like Greybeard said.
I know. Well, you know what? We're not supposed to insert ourselves as like causation of anything. We're supposed to just be commentators of the scene. So hopefully not.
Kids are going to get DMs at the end of the stream saying, "Hey, saw you guys were quite vulnerable according to Just Saying."
To the highly authoritative Just Saying podcast, yeah.
Care to comment?
So first up is Akimbo, and only because I think Rubik's got quite tilted by Douglas's unfortunate electricity issues, and that they didn't get into top 16, or they did, and I can't remember it, which I think they got into top 16 and whatever. They didn't compete at all. I think they were out from the beginning.
Yeah, they had 3 forfeit losses in Swiss.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So I think that might cause issues. I don't know. Hopefully not. Hopefully they'll come out swinging in open number 2. And then the next one was on Andromeda, who they didn't get into top 16, and that was a bit of a surprise to me. Blade, Heatsy, and Breezy, and it just doesn't feel like a completely solid glued roster. Quick thoughts on those?
Look, it's tough. I'm not sure about the inner workings of any of these teams. I feel like they're all similarly skilled players. I can't see them moving to bigger, better teams. I feel like them sticking together at this point is
the best option.
The play. Especially for this season, because you look at your top 16, your top 8s, and they are pretty locked in. And you would assume most of those would stay together. So unless one of those explodes, it doesn't give much reason for other people to move, because you'll only move if you think you can do better with the people that are free.
Yeah.
So I think Blade and Heatsy, Breezy, they're all in the same WhatsApp group when it comes to, ability, I think. So I would hate to see them break up, because I feel like giving them a couple of regionals together will only make them better.
Yeah, get in the lab, work through it. Absolutely. I think that's exactly the right thing that you're saying, Bromeo. But I also want to mention that WhatsApp group that you just talked about has so many people in it. There are so many people in that WhatsApp group around the same kind of level. And if you mix and match people, it's almost like a jigsaw puzzle, right? You're trying to get all of the pieces in the right place and with the right teammates. It's a difficult thing to do. But by the same token, I think swapping is much of a muchness at some point, right? You are swapping a player of equal ability for a player of equal ability, and it's then about personality and do you fit in with that kind of play style and that kind of thing. So I see no reason why. I mean, I said this last season and then everyone split up, but I see no reason why why you wouldn't stay together, at least for the split. See how it goes in the split. Let's have Rostermania after split 1 and see where people land. But for now,
you live in a dream world, Rhino.
I do. You're right.
Interesting comment from Daps. To be honest, the next regional will be even more competitive with the rosters forming. So that tells me that he already knows about rosters forming. And your point. And your comment though about personality is very real, because players of similar ability, it's like, okay, but we're similar, but we're not vibing. Let me find people I vibe with more. And I mean, we saw that. My next pick, I'm not putting them here because I think they're vulnerable. I just had a question because there is an untested player there, because I know I don't want to cause issues here by having them there. So it's more.
Why do I get the feeling that this is?
Then what?
It's like, I'm not doubting you, but that is highly questionable.
Yeah.
And that was.
You're going to wear that out tonight? Yeah.
It's a Stronic. Just because Onizuma is an unknown player, this is his first big test. And a little unfamiliar to all of us. And I just wondered if their results might cause them to question that, or for them to have conversations around that.
Yeah, it will. I mean, I obviously have something to say about this, being on the Highball team stream last season. I kind of speak to the likes of Chaos and Devour, a little bit. And it was a surprise to me when I was speaking to them before the season. They said, "Oh yeah, we're going to go for this young kid out of Reunion, I believe, on Azuma." And I kind of looked at that pickup and I was like, "Okay, let's see how it goes," because they were thrilled with him in scrims. They're really happy with how he fits into the team at a philosophical level of the game. And so I was like, "Hey, let's see how it goes. Skill Steal." It's still going, still gonna keep representing this region, and we love that for him. And he has the opportunity, as he did last season, to bring up two relatively new, relatively young players and try and find their ceiling and find where their potential is. And on Azuma, I would like to see that potential come through. I would like to see Skill Steal work with him over the next 6 weeks and come out the other side. But I understand why they're on your list. I really do.
So I'm busy chatting to Jay, who is obviously the big chief in charge of Astronic over on the TikTok stream.
Yes.
And he says changes are coming, not just for his team, but for many of the established teams.
It's already happening.
All change.
Okay.
So look, we're going to be wrong, but he says Astronics themselves, he can't comment on whether its players are being changed or anything like that. But he says big things are happening. So
all right,
let's see how that goes.
All right. Well, Dap says, I'm not going to spill the tea, but Astronic have been scrimming with a new third. Well, there we go. Okay. Okay, well, moving right along. Now,
so the news article tomorrow morning is Greybeard killed Astronic. That's that's what we're going with. That's the big headline.
Now, Le Bosch is absolutely not going to return. They didn't compete in this one. Inspire had a personal emergency, so they didn't compete at all. But I see the French player Halloist, who does have roots in Reunion, and he's moving down to Reunion. He and Eagle are teaming up together. They might go with Inspire. They might go with somebody else. They might. But this roster already, without even taking to the field once, are absolutely going to change. So we'll see how that goes. Oh my word, Jay is not happy.
It's all going off. I've seen it. Oh dear.
Oh dear. Okay, moving along. Now in Kundla style, to me this is kind of like a pickup team, and I don't know where any of these go. They were a huge surprise. Dalton, Eli's younger brother, coming in, and they did fantastically. I don't know if Akimbo come back and they don't have electricity issues, if Yopi perform and don't have 5BS electricity issues. I don't know if there's a place for them, but this is, to me, a roster where Dalton might, find better players to go with. He might be scrimming with Astronic Vol. We know, who knows? But I'm just not. I have big questions around the future of Nkundla style. Mm-hmm. And that's all I'm going to say about that. And we can move.
Yeah, we're not going to disagree with you.
Exactly.
I like it. Yeah.
In a session.
And then is there a change coming for rounds? Wilu, Renshiro, and Cams. Renshiro, I think, is irretrievably locked and married to rounds as an org. Since they've followed the rounds and Renshiro, This is their third region together. But I don't know. I mean, these guys are too good not to be in the top 8. So I don't know if it's just guys, let's sort out our play style, or if we need to go fishing for other players.
I'm going to jump in here. Since I've worked with rounds now since last split, I know Renshiro quite well. This team is not going anywhere. And I'm probably 75% sure that will be the case moving through into Open 2. Obviously, Rostermania can take effect, but the big factor coming out from Open 1 here for rounds was that this team was not actually put together too long before Open 1 started. Yes. They had like 2 weeks of scrims and preparation and grinding with each other, and that provedly is not enough time to build that chemistry between these 3 players. We all know what the ceiling of these 3 players is. We know they belong in the top 8, and it's literally just about making sure that they spend the next 6 weeks Don't go and fill yourself up with turkey. Don't do the Christmas celebration. Spend like one day with your family, and then get back on the PCs and
no time for Christmas.
No time for Christmas, folks. No, but seriously, this is a quality top 8 team. They will come good with the next 6 weeks of training. You will see in Open 2. I almost guarantee it.
I think this is something I would hate to see happen, because this team on paper is so good.
Yeah.
And if they perform to their abilities, they should be competing for top 4 easy, because all of these, I mean, Wheeler and Cam are 2/3 of French class basically, and I think no, it's Werty Wheeler Cam. Yes, that was French
Werty
class.
Wheeler Cam, yeah.
It's Werty Wheeler Cam.
Yes.
And I think that they, as a team, have so much potential. So I'm not sure if it was just a misfiring. They just weren't quite there on the day, but it would be very sad if they pulled apart, because if you have a look at all of the other available players of their caliber, I feel like this is their best shot at a good result.
Yo. Bromeo, before we move to the next one, I'm very conscious of your commitments, and I don't know what your time situation is. And
We're chilling, Greybeard.
Okay, fine.
Too short, not the apple.
Yeah. No. Fair enough. Okay, then next up is Team HSK. Team HSK. Zany, Bigfoot,
Husky.
and Yellow. They. Sorry, you're quite right. Husky is Husky. It
Are we allowed to say Husky? Are you sure?
I was told that's how you say it.
I was told it used to be Husky, and then they changed their name because they weren't allowed to have it anymore, because Husky is a crypto thing.
Oh my word! Everything's a crypto thing. We wouldn't.
That's
be
what I've
talking
been
about
told.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fine. Well, let's go with this team: Zany, Bigfoot, and Yelo. And I feel like Zany's frustrated me because he's so committed to the game, but just hasn't been able to break through. And anyway, I don't know. I've been told that this team is an org. They're quite loyal and kind of want to stick it out. So I don't know if we can expect a change here.
Again, I can kind of pick this one up because we've seen HSK competing in EU for a couple of seasons now. And the one thing that continuously comes back to, obviously, former Team Husky, is their talent scouting is second to none. If you play on a Husky or a HSK roster, there is genuine like aura that goes around that of being picked up by this organization, because give it a season or two and you will be right at the top of the region. And I think they've changed strategy a little bit here with the HSK roster they've picked up here in SSA, but I still believe that these 3 players wouldn't have been picked up for no reason by this organization, and I think they will have a look to it. Will Rostermania take over? Who knows? But I think you're absolutely right that the org itself will want to keep them together if they can. And
that's amazing, and that's great to hear, because it feels a little bit. I'm not familiar with them, but it's what I love about what Synthesis are doing, is that they've picked up a roster that's committed to the players and to the region rather than like trying to paycheck, big check their way to a land spot, which is fabulous. So hopefully they will stick together. And then next up is one that I think chat has already leaked, Zyro Nitro Chunkler. Someone said Zyro is going with, was it Zeph and somebody? Zyro with Zeph and Pingu. Now Pingu and Zeph are with Cristobal Colon, and so I don't know if that leaves Mercury out in the cold. So it absolutely wouldn't surprise me if there was a change here, because this is a pickup roster, and let's see how we do and take it from there.
This is going to be a tough one anyway, because they played pretty damn well, Spanish Pop and Voice. So you say Zyro's packing his bags. It's sad to see, because they did pretty well. And the team had a good chem. They scored some pretty good goals, and it's a pity, because I feel like these are one of those teams that if they stick together for longer, they'll probably do better. So this one makes me sad if confirmed, but it is what it is. It's unpaid Rocket League, so kids do what they want.
Calamatin says they're swapping out Bigfoot. Going back to Team HSK. Okay, well, so leaked in chat. We'll see how that pans out, and then this will definitely not be the same next regional. I do not think. Tristan Snoozy and Kazudo, who forfeited on Saturday, or maybe they will. Maybe they will. I don't know. But Snoozy remains an enigma to me. He's almost a committed Rocket League player, but I don't know. I just don't know.
I think this is one of those interesting ones. This was a good team, came out of nowhere, scored high and then dipped. So I suppose we're going to see if these guys stick together. There's no reason why they shouldn't. They made it all the way to the televised event on the Saturday. They should try it again. They just mustn't try forfeit again.
I mean, I do have a question about this because it's a good opportunity to bring out the RLCS rulebook. Obviously, they did break the rules in the way that they approached it. What is the punishment for these three players, if there is one?
There are.
We know.
We do know there are various options. And if I look at the disciplinary options are as follows. Issue a private or public warning. That's one option. Then there's some that refer to specific games where there's been TOS violations. Loss of all or any part of prizes previously awarded to the player or team. So that in my mind would be a good option. Find a percentage of any part of prizes. Disqualify from participating in one or more matches or stages at the event, or prevent the player or team from participating in one or more future competitions hosted by Psyonix.
I was wondering if that would come through. Yeah.
Yes, all right. and we'll see. I don't know what's been decided in the background, and if anything, it may or may not be. Especially, if it's a private warning, we won't get to hear of that. Obviously,
no. they got 6 weeks to figure it out. There's time to take and figure out stuff and put things together. But no, that's good to know.
Yeah,
it's good to know.
And then finally, S3.Ep3, who. Potato with a Gun, Cozy and Orkwax. Cozy, an untried new player coming out of the high school scene, high school champion. Orkwax knew nothing about him until he showed up. So I don't know. And I know nothing about S3.Ep3, if they're a big org, small org, committed org. But Potato with a Gun, I feel like, needs to be on a stronger roster.
It's a tough one, given the fact that the available rosters aren't that high. I mean, we're growing in talent, but the talent pool is spread rather thin, even at this level. So, one thing I'm grateful for is that we refer back to this often, but it used to be that it was incredibly difficult to find a competitive roster past like 10th position or so. So if you place lower than that, you should just go back to playing ranked with your friends, because that's the level we were with. So the fact that we're discussing teams all the way past top 16,
is
wild. It's really, really good to see, and especially because they're household names. They're not names that have come out of nowhere either. So that's very good. But to go back to S3.Ep3, I just don't think that the amount of players available would warrant any further improvement. I feel like all we're doing at this point, especially with roster swaps, is you're just trading a position or two up the chain.
I do think, though, that if Mercury has been dropped from Cristobal, this might be a place for him to come. I think he might make a good fit in there, possibly. But that remains to be seen. And that is that when it comes to the teams I thought are vulnerable. But the vibe I'm getting in chat is that we are going to see a bunch of changes coming in for Open number 2. And then there are only 2 more things to talk about. The next one being Varsity Esport. The finals of Rocket League Varsity is happening this Friday at Rage. Myself and Bromeo will be there, casting it. 2 semi-finals and a final. So if you got... Well, I was going to say, if you've got no plans for Friday, you should be there. But even if you've got plans, change those plans for Friday.
Be there.
Make your way to Rage, especially you, Muzz, with your 3 tickets. You and your friends come along. But that should be a banger. Friday, Rage in Joburg, 4 Ways Mall. Be there. I think it kicks off fairly early, like 10 o'clock in the morning. So don't go too hard on Thursday night, Bromeo, because I know you're prone. So just take it easy. And then
it's going to be a tough one, but it's going to be a full day of Rocket League though.
Yes.
And I think we're starting at like 9 all the way until 3, 4 o'clock. And you know how LAN events go. They'll probably go a bit later. So literally an 8 till 5 of Rocket League. I am excited.
All right. Keep in mind, I'm going to have to leave at 3. I got a wedding at 4.
Middle of grand final. Hey,
I got a dip. Sorry. And then
you better be there then. You better be, because I'm not doing it by myself.
Most to fill in.
And then finally, the FIFA E World Cup is getting underway very shortly. There are Guns, Snowy, and To Die For will be leaving for Saudi on the 11th of December. The tournament gets underway on the 15th, and I'm trying to find my... somewhere. Oh, there we go. That's the one I'm looking for, because I just wanted to run through very quickly what that looks like. The tournament gets underway on the 15th, and I have let's make that a little bit bigger. So there are 2 groups, and it's working very similar to last year, where the 8 teams in a group all play each other twice in a series of 2, and you get 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, 0 points for a loss, and the top 4 teams go through to playoffs of each group, so 8 teams into the playoffs. And we are in Group B along with Morocco, Australia, France, Malaysia, England, Belgium, South Africa, and Netherlands. And I have an official license to be a co-streamer of the FIFA E Rocket League World Cup. So that means I'll be getting a clean feed so we can have a little bit of a production and cast it and have a good time. So I'll be reaching out to the usual crop of casters if you want to come and join me for that. It's kind of weird because it's in the middle of the day. The games start at 1 o'clock and go until about 4 o'clock on Tuesday, Monday the 15th and Tuesday the 16th of December. 16th in South Africa is a public holiday, so that might make things a little bit easier. And so we'll roll with that. The playoffs are then the Wednesday and Thursday, 17th and 18th. And I think we might, maybe we cause a few upsets. Could we beat the Australian team? I think there's a small chance we could. Could we beat France? No. Malaysia? Could we beat Malaysia?
I think there's a chance to beat Malaysia. Yeah.
And then maybe some crazy results, like we have a banger game against England or Belgium or something.
Move on, greybeard.
Do you know, I don't know any Englishmen, but I know that they are a really easy team to beat. So it should be easy.
The only time I'm comfortable about beating an England team in anything is if they're in a World Cup, because that's
oh right okay all right okay. Goodness me.
You're the strays. Belgium, easy game.
I wish I could counteract, but I can't.
Yeah. No, listen,
it is what it is.
It's unlikely, but there is a non-zero chance that we get out of groups. And wouldn't that be amazing? I think our chances would have been far better if Sweaty was there. But, we have to do it with the team that we have got. So it is December in South Africa, and, nobody works or does anything in December. So maybe there's time, come and watch, and we'll have ourselves a good time. And that is going to wrap it up, gentlemen, unless either of you have anything fabulous or anything else that we need to talk about before we wrap it up.
There's probably something that I'm going to remember 2 minutes after the stream ends, but for now, I am gloriously and blissfully unaware of that, so I am happy to hand off to you.
Excellent. Rhino, anything you want to add?
Not from me. I genuinely do hope that South Africa have a great showing at the World Cup, show the world exactly how much this region has progressed with this new 2/3 rule, and shut everyone else up because they deserve it.
Indeed, they do. And then the last thing, as we always do, to see if there's anyone I'm following that's live that we should go and raid.
Lola?
Say what?
There's Lola.
Is Lola live?
Lola live.
Lola live. So Pegasus is live if you want to go and raid him as well.
Nah, we got to go do Lolo because he's the coach of our champion team. So
that's fair enough.
So go and give him a shout out. Say well done, regional champion. Is it what? Give me his Twitch. It's hold on. I'm surely I've
Lola
got
TV
it right here. There it is. I've got him right here. I don't need to do it manually. I can start this raid and get going. Tell him that Greybeard sent you. It's been a pleasure as always. Is there anything? So Friday is Rage. Come and hang there. And then the podcast next week. And that's all I've got to say. Let's go and raid. Peace out, everyone. Thanks for hanging. And Rhino, thanks for joining us. So from me, Greybeard, Bromeo, and Rhino, peace. We're out.
And quickly, everyone over on the TikTok.